All right, and we're ready to go into the games. I don't know why I jumped so bad back there. In the bottom,
afraid of people seeing you how you are.
In the bottom left, we have our Protoss player up 1 game. He is
New challenger, LGIM first.
in the bottom right on a map that should favor him. Let's see how he plays on it. He is
Master, Azubu Symbol.
You know, with these new zoom out features that just came in this last patch, Tasteless, you zoom out on a Zerg hatchery like that, and I feel like we're looking down at a lily pad.
actually, yeah.
It's got a little frog in the middle called the hatchery.
Yeah.
It's got all these little bugs going back and forth. For some reason, there's some rocks on there that they're collecting for the frog. If you lose the frog, you are screwed.
You are screwed, man. I love the zoom out feature. I absolutely love it. I kind of wish they had done that earlier with this, because it's just such a an enhancement.
It is.
I wouldn't even mind if you could zoom out further for the sake of observing.
Like the whole map.
Actually, you know
it's
what?
It's called the mini map. Well, you know, it took the great guys at GameHeart to kind of show us that, like, hey, look what this looks like, and that's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even I wouldn't mind being able to zoom out like 3 times even that. You'd be like, well, here's the entire, 1/3 of the map.
Yeah.
Here's everything that the Protoss controls.
Exactly. Everything in the Protoss Kingdom.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, here's what the Zerg's base looks like, and you can see, okay, well, here's...
And here's the Tasteless Rogue state, because like when Tasteless is playing, there's like 3 bases, and there's one in the other corner. It's a hidden one.
It's playing the 5th race of Starcraft. So, as you guys could see, we're going to have a little bit of downtime here.
Yes.
We're going to have to wait until the Cybernetics score is done with the Protoss. We'll know pretty quickly here. If the Zerg is going to do some kind of all-in, we'll be sure to let you know. But for the time being, it should be a fairly passive game.
That's right.
So I have a question for you, Tosis, because I recommended a game to you a while ago, and the whole world is watching us now, and I'm going to see if you actually followed through. Did you end up playing Walking Dead?
I did. I have Walking Dead for PlayStation now, and
how do you like it?
It's pretty fun. It's like more storyline than playing a video game. And if it's possible, I
love it, though.
I'm bad at it, because here's the thing. For anyone that played Walking Dead out there, like, these are the types of messages I was always seeing. Like, Clementine will remember that you weren't there to rescue her. And it's like, Kenny will remember that you had no loyalty. And it was all messages like that. And I'm like, oh, what? And like anyone I save from zombies is like, wow, I wish you had let me die and save the other person. I'm like, oh, god damn it, come on. Like, can I not do anything right? Man. I'm like, I'm Masters League in StarCraft, you stupid game.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, no,
that's my experience so far, but it's a fun game.
Oh, it's a great game. I actually wouldn't mind more games being like that. You didn't play Heavy Rain, did you?
No.
That game's a
the only Rain I care about plays Protoss for SK Telecom, Tasteless.
And I don't even know how much he weighs. So
he doesn't look too heavy. He's pretty tall, though. Could be. I don't know.
All right, so the Cybernetics score is getting close to being done, and that's when we're going to have a little bit more to talk about here.
Well, we'll just keep quiet until that moment of silence for the Cybernetics score.
The moment of silence for all those people Artosis let die in Walking Dead.
That's true.
You will be the first to die in a zombie apocalypse. That's what we know.
Well, some of these things happen, though, Tasteless, because I'm not used to, like, the analog sticks on a PlayStation. It's like I can't just go click on, like, I'm like, oh my god, it's a zombie! And, like, the very first zombie that came after me, I couldn't, like, zero in on the dot that I'm supposed to be on, and then I don't know which PlayStation buttons are which, so I have to like look and be like, where is it? Oh my god!
You know, it's funny because
I just don't play PlayStation.
That is actually one thing that's counterintuitive about PlayStation when it first came out. Is like X, circle, triangle, square. Like they don't.
It
means nothing as far as where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Unlike even like AB, you can start to be like, all right,
I probably
X, Y, and stuff.
Probably do better with like, glyphs or runes or like. It's like the dancing woman from the side of a pyramid. Like I'm like, oh, press the dancing woman. Of course, she's on the left. She's dancing towards the right. At least that has some sort of sense in it, right? Whereas it's like a circle. I'm like, well, where's the circle? It's like, well, the circle's on the right. It's like,
you want to know how I learned what the circle was? Actually, I knew that the right side of the controller is circular. When I hold it with my right hand.
So is the left hand side.
Yeah, but that's where the D-pad is. So you don't have to.
Wow, Tasteless. I'm not the only crazy person.
The triangle's at the top, which is like it's an arrow pointing up.
Well,
yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Okay.
You roll with me, you're going to be all right, Arctosis.
Right.
So we got Phoenix is coming out here. Now, he's not pulling the Phoenix. He just wants to get rid of this Overlord over here before he starts moving around the map.
It looks like it's going to be Phoenix's plus 4-gate +1 attack. And what he wants to do is start hitting Overlords to keep Symbol supply capped or almost supply capped. So he's spending larva, money, etc. on Overlords and can't build the units as easily. But we don't have the pylon actually start yet. He needs to start it like right now. And okay, there we go. He started right as I said that. So we're going to have this little +1. This is actually probably going to work very well because there's only 4 Zerglings out right now, and he's making drones.
All right, we have the Phoenixes moving out now. And again, map control going to go completely to Protoss here. And let's see how much damage this does exactly.
You know, Symbol, every time
I love
he sees Phoenixes
warping him in here in the gas.
Yeah, it's very smart. It's hard to scout, and he has no units. He just doesn't have any units, Tasteless.
I don't think I've ever seen a warping quite like this. He made sure the probe was right there so we could see into the gas so we could then warp in there. Because if a Zergling just goes by and sees the pylon, that doesn't tell him much of anything.
And look at this, 8 Zealots with +1, and he's making 10 Lings right now. That's going to give him 14 plus Queens. It looks, well, he's making a Baneling Nest. Okay, that can be a saving grace.
Absolutely.
If he can micro long enough that he can start getting a couple Baneling hits in, then he'll be all right, but this is going to be so hard.
All right, he got that first Queen, but he's now going to have to back up. And it looks like he's not quite controlling his Zealots as well as he could. And he's got to keep them together here. Now, with enough Queens like this, the Phoenixes have a hard time being completely utilized right now.
That is a lot of Queens.
I do love the angling here of the Zealots, by the way. Whoa, 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 what is he doing? Did you see that for a second?
Well,
whoa, that was
looks
like command stuff.
This is a fantastic hold so far, but he comes in, lifts up the Queen so the Zealots can do more damage. 4 more Zealots coming in, a lot more Lings being produced, but the Zealots are going to town on a couple drones now.
All right, as you can see here, the Zealots continue to do damage. Another round warped in. They're not all quite together. Now moving in here. He doesn't have a ton more Phoenix lifts left over here. Actually, not the easiest battle to follow. Excuse me. Now, it looks like the Protoss ground should be wiped out, which is just going to leave these Phoenixes. And he does move a Spore Crawler up here. And that should be the end of this rush.
You know what? 15 workers were killed during that.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
What's the drone count versus the probe count? Can you check
It's very similar, 45 to 46 right now.
Okay.
So, you know, that it was pretty good for first, but Symbol now has 1-1 upgrades against just 1-0, and he has quite a few Queens left over. He's starting to tech.
Oh, this is
not
really
a game
nice
ender
here.
like it could have been. Good controlling there by Symbol to not die to that straight up.
Dare I even say actually bad controlling there by first. There were several moments where the Zealots were actually just moving and brushing up on the Lings.
Yeah, that's never good.
Never.
Especially when they have that +1 can kill so quick.
Especially when you're the Protoss.
Yeah, I guess for the Zerg that is good.
Yeah.
But look at this, the Phoenixes are still doing a lot of damage. Symbol, despite being the Zerg that makes the most Spore Crawlers out of anyone against Phoenixes, taking quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. The third base is going down here now, so we're not going to see any kind of 2-base timing here from first. Now, considering that attack was very effective in game number 1, excuse me, game number 2 here, sorry. It wasn't effective in game number 1, an attack like that, and first still won. So in this game, I got to say, I think Symbol's got his work cut out for him.
He's actually going into Swarm Host immediately on 3 bases.
I agree with that.
Okay.
He has the turtle right now. There's no way he's able to get a 4th base. And you know what? Symbol is somebody, I don't think he's as good as Leenock with this, but he can actually stay even on bases or even behind and do well.
That is true. Leenock is something special about that. But for me, I don't, you know, if you're going Storm Host on less than 4 base, I always feel a little bit iffy about it, Tasteless. So I'm a bit nervous for Symbol right now because first is about to be mining from a 3rd base. And if we have Swarm Host play for Symbol, well, securing that additional base is going to be hard, especially since Colossus is already out.
Let's talk about this as well. As if the Protoss gets Blink and keeps making Stalkers, he can actually avoid the Swarm Host and go into the main.
No, you could do that.
This is one of these maps where the Swarm Host can't quite cover everything.
It looks like he's actually going to be going Void Ray Colossus, though, and that's going to be obviously a very good choice.
Yeah, with the additional Void Ray coming out, you're absolutely right. He is not going to go for Colossus and Blink here.
And, you know,
but you know, with Void Rays, you can get somewhat of the same result because they don't have to stay with the army.
That's true. You definitely can harass a bit more with them, and
I feel like Void Rays is one of the best things you can do when you took a pretty big lead with Protoss and you want to keep it.
I think I agree with you on that.
I feel like the Void Rays are a little bit hard to, especially if the Berserker becomes desperate and tries to just counterattack. you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't
If the Zerg
disagree
tries
with
to
you.
expand, that's okay. You can time it out, push out.
If you have Void Rays, if you're making Void Rays like out of 2 or more Stargates, and your opponent's behind, when you're behind, you don't go Hydras, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that Void Rays could have a problem with. So, I like what you're saying, Tasteless. And I think he is making such a unit composition that it's going to be incredibly hard to actually break him, especially since he scouted the Spire. That he knows that the anti-air of choice is likely to be Corruptor, which makes the Void Rays perfect. And he already has Phoenixes, so it's not like he could have, with that Spire, gone Mutas. Well, he could have, but that would have been quite a gamble.
Indeed. All right, he might have actually zoned these Phoenixes into a position where he's going to force some to be taken out. In fact, no, I'm sorry, there was... Oh, yeah, there was a Spore Crawler there, okay. I was like, something was being made there. I'm like, oh, that was a Spire. So... it looks like the Zerg is going to get that 4th up comfortably, and I think Protoss has one of the best responses to that is to just get his own 4th.
You know what? It is not bad at all, especially considering he's trying to go Colossus Void Array, which takes a long time to max out with.
Yeah.
And are you really going to want to move around at 160? Not as much. So.
Now, and one thing to note is with these Swarm Hosts, out here, if those are picked off, Symbol basically loses the game.
Yeah.
He cannot lose these Swarm Hosts. Pretty much under any circumstance, at least for this phase of the game.
Yeah, he has to get a huge bank before he can lose those. Those are literally his army right now, but he needs to add a bit more to his army. He can't just go Corruptor Swarm Host against Colossus Void Ray. He actually...
Well, a lot of this is hinged on just being able to take out whatever's spotting.
Yeah, observers
like
and
the
stuff
observers,
like
for
that.
instance, yeah.
And, you know, that can be scary because Protosses are catching on to that, making extra observers, keeping them behind, and bringing them in.
Yep.
So I feel like right now he needs to either go into Viper play, which it looks like that's what he's going to do, or if he really wanted to, he could go into some Infestors because straight up, First Army wins right now. And you can't have that because he's adding gates right now. He has 4 bases. He's going to go for a straight-up engagement pretty soon, likely.
So, as you could see here, Zerg is itching to do any damage. Maybe just, pick off the Nexus, something like that here. And this is tough for Protoss to deal with, as I'm sure any of you guys who played a lot of StarCraft know. When you start to deal with Swarm Hosts and Corruptors, it's just a very unforgiving situation because these units that we see from the Zerg, they're basically free. See, they take out a Zealot or 2, damage there, but almost take out that Sentry there. That's fine. It doesn't cost the Zerg anything.
That's right.
And over time, this can really start to add up.
And First certainly does know that, as he does play a lot of StarCraft. So, you know, he's getting ready for everything. You can tell he's getting his Psy Storm, starting the upgrade for Warp Prism speed, and getting that Warp Prism because he's going to want to hit more than one spot at once. This army is very immobile for Symbol, which is why we were talking before about how Symbol makes more spines and spores than anyone. And in the main base right now, he already has 4 spines and 2 spores, so he's getting ready for exactly what's coming.
Yep. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and move out First is. And he's got a lot of gateways so that when he's maxed out, if all of his ground armies picked up, takes out that. He's got to keep it together here. Void Rays are coming up here now and just doing too much damage to those Corruptors. Now, we saw the Warp Prism come out here. Now, he's sending that over to the Zerg's main. And when that gets there, because he has so many gateways, he can actually warp in like a dozen units.
Yeah.
And that's what you do against somebody who's playing like what Symbol's doing. Symbol doesn't have a lot of mobility, but he's got this big death ball that's hard to deal with. Protoss has that too, but he has enough supply open, unlike Symbol, that he can just do a big mineral dump of Zealots or Zealothy Stalkers or even a Sentry there to block off the ramp.
Very, very true.
Now, it looks like that. Is that inside the blue blip over there? Is
Yeah,
inside?
it looks like it got basically caught.
It's
yeah,
over there.
It got caught.
All
so
right, the Warp Prism was just killed, but that was what he was planning for. We didn't get a shot of it, but
he will definitely make another one very soon. In fact, he's adding another robot, knowing that he's going to need a lot of this. So look, this is exactly why we were talking before about how this map is really good for Symbol. Notice the way he's putting a lot of Stack D. He's not letting the Warp Prism in. He's pushing his Stack D forward. Very calm and methodical way that he's playing. Whereas right now for First, he's having a hard time. You know, these units are zoning out his High Templars, which he needs. They're starting to get a lot of anti-air. This is a tough situation for Protoss.
All right, completely cleaning up the rest of those Locusts there. And it looks like he might be trying to go around, which is a smart move. Looks like he's going to send the Locusts after him here.
And those Corruptors coming in. He has to be really careful, though. Oh, my God.
Oh,
a lot
man.
of
One or two Archon hits. Yeah, a lot of stuff could go wrong here for Zerg if he's not careful.
Yeah, the Void Rays would clean up everything in a matter of seconds after 1 or 2 Archon hits, especially with the Psy Storm on top.
All right. Again, he's got to be careful with the position of these Templars. They're not mobile units. Again, nice storm there. That was a really good storm.
Now, don't forget he has a lot of Queens, so he's going to start transfusing those some. He knows that he cannot let them just all die at once. It's way too much resources lost, so we'll see how he does with it.
Okay, and it looks like what he Symbol wants to do is just try to take out this base right here, this one that we have a shot of, before he deals with that army. Now, let's see. I think, to be frank, he should actually target the hatch here. Or actually, the Greater Spire would help out a lot too. But one of those two. That's one thing I've noticed with First. He doesn't seem to be into targeting down as much as just causing disruptions.
I think you're right about that.
I think he actually just right-clicks move there, and then he's like, all right, I don't even care about what's going on here.
It's a stylistic move. He's more about the broader strokes of the game rather than very precise amounts of damage, which is fine. It's just
it's just a different way to play the game. Absolutely.
So this is getting, like, scary, man. 11 more spines on the way. He is really holding on tight here.
Now, you got to be careful, though, because Protoss can just barely break in there if it gets to the right angle.
And also, do notice that he's clearing out creep. I'd actually like his army to swing down south for a moment and clear out the creep down there. Because when you're playing against Swarm Host, you need to push creep back as if you're playing a TVZ, because those locusts become way too powerful on creep.
Yeah, and of course, just to know the movement of your army as well is a serious issue.
To know that the Protoss army isn't down where those tumors are gives Symbol an edge.
It's so funny when you see that many changelings. Now, we're going to have to see a lot of Warp Prisms here, like a lot from First in a little bit, because it's pretty much the point in time where Symbol has sealed off his half of the map. And why does that matter? Well, because Zerg with Locust and Broodlords, for instance, and even if you were to use Infested Terrans, are stronger than Protoss in those positions.
Definitely.
Protoss has certainly the energy to storm that, but eventually you just run out. Locusts reload too quickly.
Yeah, far quicker than a Psy Storm. And notice he is pushing this creep back, Tasteless. The one other thing I really want to see here... Oh, wait a minute. We actually have Viper here, and he's going to start actually harpooning things and bringing them into the Corruptors. I really like play like that.
Would it be funny if he misclicked and harpooned an Archon?
Archon just
kills all the
deals like 1,000 damage with one hit.
It's like unhippest play of all time.
Exactly. You know, he has, right now, a fleet beacon, so he can continue to get air attack upgrades. Really important thing to do, but I actually want to see the mothership as well, because Cloak helps a lot against these forward Locust armies. Like, you can stall out the damage they're doing for a long time with something like that.
All right, he's continuing now to try to push in here, and I gotta say, Symbol's been pretty tight with the number of spores and spines. You notice there's not many spines in the middle of that shot we just had there. Oh. He just is enough that the army can't quite walk around the corner without getting pinned.
It's a very good point, Tasteless. And you know, what do you think about this Tempest switch? He's actually going to go into some Tempest now.
I mean, I think it's the only option he has, to be totally frank.
Yeah, if he's going to go Tempest, though, I want to see that mothership, because if you're pushing in there, Tempests have a big range. It's not nearly as big as Locusts.
That's true.
And if you can zone out the High Templars from the Tempests, they will get abducted and you will lose them.
That's very true. I don't know. I think actually First is probably going to lose this game because, to be frank, this is what Symbol is best at, and this is the best map for that.
That's right.
And there's really not much else to say. I think it's going to be a long game for both of these guys.
Oh, yeah. This game, I would be very surprised if this game doesn't go another 20 minutes.
Now, this is smart. He's going to go ahead and take out the Greater Spire over here.
Nice.
And if he gets that along with the Spire, it's going to be a serious issue, because that's going to make the Tempest a lot stronger for the time being.
And not just that, he stopped an upgrade as well, which is quite nice.
Oh, that's true.
Less Broodlords now, I guess, but the Broodlords aren't really what he's worried about anyways. Broodlords is just like icing on the cake for Symbol's composition.
Right.
But Symbol's starting to do the little supply cheat now, Tasteless.
Yep. Look at this. Get a few Void Rays over here. Although I guess that's probably fine because he wants to make more Tempests, I think, at this point in time anyways.
You are, yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, Tasteless. Well, you know, this is to that point now where actually he's going to have to lose off even more of his other units. I'm going to take a look. He has a Stalker. He definitely wants to get rid of that. He has a Zealot. Definitely get rid of that. He has 1 sentry, that's good. You'd always want your Guardian Shield. Actually, you know what? His army is almost...
How many gateways does he have, actually?
He has a lot. You know what? Oh, well, I guess this is what he's going to do, Tasteless. He's going to start an attack, and it's never going to end, and that's how he's going to try to win.
Well, look at the amount of money that is saved up here for first. He can actually attack into this and insta-warp in. Boom. 25 units. Boom, another 25.
That is absolutely so true. He actually has... Well, hold on. We actually have a big battle going down right now, and ooh, first being pretty efficient there.
That was a really nice play there by first. He bruised those corruptors enough that they really can't engage right now. And you can see that first is really looking for an opening here. This is the fundamentals of maps like this. This map is actually the closest map to the map Shikuras Plateau, guys. Very similar, actually, in the way it ends up, usually in late game and end game.
Now, look at this awesome play right now by First. This is absolutely cool. And he's actually slowing down any locusts from coming in so that he can pick them off with his splash damage quicker so his Tempest can continue to pick away at everything. Superb, superb play by both sides in this game.
All right. It looks like he's going to be able to clean up these locusts very easily. And let's see if he can actually push in here. This is a tough move because both these guys basically can't kill each other. One thing for the Protoss, the Tempests have this incredible range, so they can start to... Oh!
And that's what happens when your High Templars aren't up close enough. Loses 2 Tempests for not as much damage as those Tempests are worth.
All right, the Zealots are not going to come in here again. Is he sending a warp? Is there a hidden pylon up there? Is that a warp prism? Because you would think that by now...
It's actually just a pylon in the middle center.
I can't believe that that's actually...
That is still going on.
Yeah, I mean... There's nothing fancy about this. You would have thought he would have had something up there. In fact, is there a red blip by that pylon? Can you check Artosis?
Yeah, there is actually. But it's a broad lane, so it's not quite in distance to see.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So now he's just going to clean up these drones here. Which, again, almost is not that impactful. Because, I mean, to be frank, Sybil wants to open up his supply here. So we can make more of anything. Oh, nice harpooning.
Yeah, see, that's the beauty of that. Now, again, I would love to see the Mothership to try to stop some of that, because then you have to bring up your Overseers as well, and then it's like you need the Overseers, the Corruptors, and the Vipers all there to do a nab, but also you need the Locusts underneath. So that's like 4 things Zerg has to be on top of to try to get 1 nab off.
Yeah. We got
1
Oracles.
kidnapping.
We got the Oracles over here to help spot, especially for these Swarm hosts here. Or also just to die to Queens. I mean, it depends on the play style, really. But
well, sometimes you just want to start your Queens.
Nothing will die faster than that Oracle did.
Died pretty quick.
It's like dead before the harpooning is even done.
We actually have a bunch of Infestors on the way now. Never a bad choice against such a clumped-up Protoss army. They're just going to be useful overall.
So, again, as far as available expansions from here on out, there's a top expansion and a bottom expansion for both sides. But this is what's kind of funny about it. They're both holding out and getting that for the time being, because the person who mines out first probably loses.
There's a very good chance
It sounds weird, but it's true.
The thing is, Symbol's becoming so cost efficient. Look at all those Zealots. I bet you wish you had Pathfinder lands, huh?
Yeah, right? Well, they completely went to waste here. And yeah, I gotta say, Artosis, Symbol's being way more cost efficient. Yeah,
it was actually in first favor a little bit ago, and now it's 3K in the favor of Symbol, just to put that in try to...
And don't be confused, guys. What we're saying is that even though First has more money, the fact of the matter is that the amount of money that both players have spent, Symbol's actually made the bigger bang for his buck.
Yeah. And when they have a very similar number of bases, of course, that means a lot. And you can see the bank starting to go in Symbol's favor as well. But that is a fungal right there. Oh my god. Those are some good fungals. Chain fungling down everything. He gets all the High Templar there.
And I can't believe, you look at how bunched up that army is. I think now Symbol can actually chase him all the way across the map.
May be able to. Look at that. Oh my god, he's going to get some kidnappings off Tasteless.
All right, but now the answer from First is to warp in huge armies now, coming in here to try to push through. And, mind you, these Swarm hosts are now being taken out. That's the backbone of this entire army.
Not just that, 20 mutas in production right now. Symbol is switching up his tech. He can actually make 20 more, but he doesn't have the larva.
Isn't that funny? That's one thing about Protoss. All they need to do is have the gateways.
Well,
they can warp in their entire army supplies, virtually even right now, but rapidly declining.
Lucky for first, he's actually making Archons and Stalkers right now, so that's going to help out against these
This is one
mutas.
of the best late-game plays I've seen from a Protoss in a long time.
Yeah, this was fantastic. With about 20 gateways, he's warped in so many units. He's used up a big chunk of bank, but there's actually going to be so many mutas out. Oh, come on.
Come on. Okay.
All right.
All right.
No problem. No
All
problem.
right, everything's
Keep
fine.
going.
So, you know, the problem is with the Archons here, they're so good against mutas. Like, just
So
watch.
good.
Just watch. It's actually...
Those mutas do have good upgrades, but 3-3-2 against 3-1 definitely does favor
Well, the number of
Protoss
mutas that were
army.
killed, and look, he's warping in a bunch more, and he can keep pushing forward. And actually, I think he just broke the Zerg.
I think he did.
He's expanding off this as well.
Looks like you're right.
The amount of cash both these guys have right now is pretty even, but, you know, to be frank, this was just a beautiful tech switch, and that's one of the best ways to win. Normally you see it from Zerg and not from Protoss.
It was a really nice way to overrun.
Yeah.
All his eggs were in that basket.
Yeah.
If this didn't work, he would have lost.
So this is going to be a 2-0, it looks like.
Yeah.
He'll go to this base, and then he'll probably just go to the bottom one. He doesn't even have to go and actually finish him off. He can just go back home and defend and mass back up and let the Zerg figure it out.
And in fact, he's dealing damage he can while more mutas are being made, but he's actually pumping out mass Phoenix and getting Phoenix range as well. So he's going to be able to deal with these mutas without any real issue. Oh my god, he didn't have Blink yet.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have caught that he not pointed that out. Because, of course, I was thinking, well, of course he has Blink.
Yeah, at this point in the game, against any race, you would have Blink. You know?
You know, he probably tried to blink away and is like, oh my god, I don't have this. All right.
Well, these Corruptors are not going to live long over their Archons.
Yeah.
Looks like he will clean up this army. No, never mind. The Archons are just so good in this situation.
I know. They're just too good. You know what's funny? A lot of times people don't seem to know quite how strong Archons are. I mean, in lower levels. They don't quite know how strong Archons are actually against anything in the air. Yeah. Because you really get to see Splash. All right, GG. First wins the first set here up today.
First brought his best play today. He absolutely did. You know,
well, this is the first that I'm used to seeing.
This was the first that I was like, this guy might make it to the finals. This guy could possibly win off this level of play. Yeah. And the level of play he showed here is what he showed mostly throughout the tournament, except for when he was eliminated.
I actually expect First to be around for a long time as well.
Yeah. Well, he's playing so well. Like, that was fantastic play. That was some of the best handling, if not the best handling, of that type of Stormhost play that we've really seen in PvZ. And Symbol is one of the very best at that type of Stormhost play.
Yeah.
You know, he was at a deficit going into the Stormhost play, which is, again, why you were like, oh, I really like this, you know, to gas the turtle up. So he may as well start that.
You know, there's a point in time where he got those bungles up, and I was almost positive that he would take the Protoss out.
Yeah.
But, you know, the funny thing is, when those supplies started to free up for both sides, First had an answer, and Symbol didn't.
That is so true. I loved it. He added those gates, and he just knew that eventually, he's like, I'm going to overrun once. I'm not going to go do the battle where we trade, and then we both try to reset up armies.
Yeah.
He was just, it was all about, like, you know, sometimes we call it, like, the 300 supply push, where it's like, just never-ending, put everything into it, get the bank, get the gateway count up, spend your entire bank in one gigantic attack, and it worked out very well for him.
It was pretty sexy. Again, to emphasize here, it's very different from two players that are just maxed out and they engage. What he's doing is he's not full-on engaging. He's trying to outposition the Swarmhost the whole time. But the real beautiful part is that he actually is setting up so that he can reload his army twice to 200 if he needs to. We're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to go to our next best of three. So stay tuned.